Thank you once again for tuning into Car and Bike. My name is Shams and it's time to get up close and personal with the all-new Volvo XC90 flagship SUV that has just been launched in India, priced at 1 crore 3 lakh rupees ex-showroom. Now this is the second major facelift this car has got in its almost decade-long journey with this generation, and quite a lot has changed when it comes to design, features as well as tech and safety. Telling you all about that in this video today. But before we do that, if you still haven't subscribed to Car and Bike, please do it right now. Also, do not forget to press the bell icon, and if you like this video, do share it with everyone you know.
It hasn't taken too long for the latest version of the Volvo flagship SUV to come to India after its global debut that took place late in 2024. The XC90 has been on sale in our country for a long time and takes forward a strong legacy with this new model.
A big difference on the new XC90 when compared to the pre-facelift car is the grille. It has changed completely, a nice looking pattern, and personally I also like it quite a lot. Resembles the electric SUVs from the brand more and actually looks like a part of the family, which is rather nice. And then the most famous signature Thor shaped LED headlamps. You see these DRLs exactly of that shape, but the lamps have become slimmer, so they look nicer as well. Bumpers have been redesigned, fenders also are sort of different, and there's a fair bit of chrome as well down below, which is something that buyers always appreciate. The raised lines on the bonnet look quite good and sporty as well. Sort of feels like a work of an artist, which is good. And then you come towards the profile and you look at these big 20-inch alloy wheels. They fit perfectly with the overall silhouette of the SUV. Talking about silhouette, it has largely remained the same. So if you compare it to the pre-facelift car, Volvo SUVs are known for that sort of boxy design that continues. So not a lot of curves, which many of you will like and do like about Volvo cars. Ground clearance, very important for a country like India. 238mm is standard, but this one also comes with variable suspension, so you can actually increase or decrease the ride height, which is again a very practical feature to have in any car. Again, a lot of chrome, so you expect it on the window line or up above, but you also get it below, where normally you find cladding on SUVs. That looks rather nice. Talking about silhouette again, boxy towards the rear as well. And even the tail lamps have gone for a minor makeover, not very big, but sort of different from what it was earlier on the SUV.
Clearly, the all-electric EX90 is the design inspiration when it comes to the changes on the grille, and the redesigned air intakes promise better aerodynamics, something a big tall SUV can always do with. In all, there are 6 color options, and one amongst them, mulberry red, hasn't been seen before on the SUV.
Now at first glance you may think that the cabin of the Volvo XC90 hasn't really changed when compared to the pre-facelift car, but look closely and that's really not the case, because Volvo has made a fair bit of changes here. But most of them are subtle, which is a good thing, which is subscribing to the Volvo philosophy of design and how the cars are made. However, one big difference is the bigger 11.2-inch touchscreen with Google integration, something we've seen on cars from Volvo before this as well. So it's clear, it's at a good angle as well. It is vertical, which is good in modern day cars. However, connectivity with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is wired and not wireless, which is something you may not like. What you will like is the way the dash looks. Look at these colors, the textures. There's wood here as well, there's chrome too, so there's everything here, very nicely integrated. I also love the way these vertical AC vents are designed in the center, quite big, flank the system rather nicely. Full digital cluster, you also have a head-up display, and you have a brand new 19-speaker Bowers and Wilkins audio system, which promises to enhance the audio quality, audio output of this SUV. You expect a good system in a flagship, and Volvo has given you that with this particular feature. And then you come to the seats. Once again, quite plush, full leather seats. They feel very premium, and of course you expect features like ventilation, heating, electric seat, memory seats. All of that is there here on the first row. A big panoramic sunroof is something that you always desire for in a big SUV. The XC90 gives you that. And even here, if you look at the console, it may look similar, but it is not. It's slightly redesigned. The wireless charger has gone to a different place. The angle is nice to fit your phone rather nicely. And I also like this crystalline element of the gear shift, which adds to the premiumness. So overall, there's a fair bit that's changed here on the first row of the XC90 SUV.
Volvo calls this crystal gear shift a piece of jewelry, and we cannot disagree. There's an air purifier too, and with the help of an app, you can pre-clean the cabin air before entering the vehicle.
So how is the all-important second row of the Volvo XC90? Well, in terms of practicality, it's quite nice because what you get here is a 40-20-40 split between the three seats. You can actually fold either one or two or three seats and get more practicality here on the second row. Also, the third row isn't very spacious. The seats are small, so strictly I would say it's for kids, but you can create more room there by pushing the front row seat, slide it forward and slide your second seat forward as well to create a bit more space on the second row, which is nice. You also have a center armrest here with cup holders. But in terms of thigh support, I feel this could have been better looking at the segment this car comes in. You have a sunshade here on the second row windows. There's the 4-zone climate control, which is very important for a flagship, and you also have two Type-C charging ports on the second row.
The third row, though short on space, has a separate air conditioning system which can be activated using the touchscreen system.
Now the XC90, as you would probably know, is a 7-seater. You get 3 rows of seats, and of course there's also an electric tailgate. So I open that, and here's a sort of decent space that you get in the boot with all 3 rows up. But if you make the third row flat, which is what I'm doing right now, just press this lever and make it go down, then what you're getting is almost 700 liters of boot space, which is quite nice. And this is a Volvo, so you expect good safety, and there's safety here as well. Electric tailgate, I press the button here and it's got this nice anti-pinch feature. Look at my arm here, I put it, it'll hit my hand, and again the tailgate will open. So that is something that is also taken care of.
The SUV is offered in both mild hybrid and strong hybrid versions in many markets in the world, but India continues to get only the former.
Now when you're driving a car as big as the XC90, what you want is a very dominant drive position, a very clear view of the road, and you get that on this SUV. So you're sitting at a raised height, which is good. You're getting a very clear view in front of you, but the clever design on the rear seats, despite the big headrest, also ensures that the rear view is quite clear on this SUV, which is quite far because of 3-row SUV. The pillars are quite thick, but they don't really hamper the view, which is nice. The steering wheel is adjustable for both tilt and reach. However, it is not electric, you may not like that. But this in combination with electric seats gives you the perfect drive position you're looking for, doesn't matter what your height is. And then we come to the heart of the matter, which is the engine. Now that hasn't really changed with this facelift, so it's a 2-liter petrol engine, 4-cylinder with mild hybrid tech. We've seen that before on the car as well. Decent in terms of numbers and specs, around 250 bhp of maximum power, around 360 Nm of peak torque. Remember, it's a 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol. It's not a very big displacement engine. It's not a diesel engine as well, so you can't expect very high torque figure or very high figure of power. But it is decent, you know, if you're somebody who uses it for daily commutes to work or for meetings, or the family members will use it for long drives. You don't really need a lot of power. You don't really need a very responsive drivetrain, and that job this car will do really well. The automated gearbox is mated wonderfully to the engine, and you don't really feel any lag when you're driving this car, which means there are no sudden jerks even for the occupants when they're traveling in the XC90.
There's a manual mode too, which makes the experience sportier. However, what you may not like are missing paddle shifts, something that could have appealed to a larger section of buyers. The big SUV is able to do 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.7 seconds, which is quite decent, and claimed fuel efficiency stands at around 12.5 km per liter. So the 48-volt mild hybrid system does its bit when it comes to achieving these double-digit numbers.
But what you love here is the refinement, because this is a really silent cabin on the XC90. Of course, it's a petrol, so you don't expect a lot of noise, but it is a refined mill. We've seen that before also on cars from the brand, and the insulation levels are right up there. So hardly any sound or noise from the exterior, barring some tire noise, creeps into the cabin, that ensures a really silent experience for all the occupants inside the cabin. Ride quality is key, and the XC90 excels here because it gets air suspension. Now what it ensures is that on every row of the car you get a really comfortable ride quality, and because the suspension is adaptive, the ride height can go up and down, and it happens automatically depending on the kind of surface you're driving on, depending on the speeds you're at, depending on the kind of luggage or the weight the car is carrying, and the ride height will go down by itself, and that will take care of good ride quality and will even take care of handling, because once the ride height goes down, the car handles in a much better way. Remember, this is a big bulky SUV. You expect a fair bit of body roll, but because of air suspension, even that aspect is taken care of. You can also raise or decrease the ride height manually in case you want to do that, depending on your requirements.
Another worthy feature is adaptive power steering, where the feedback increases as the driving speed goes up.
Press a button on the screen and you get to drive modes. So it's fairly basic. You have standard and off-road modes, and off-road of course takes the ride height up, but you can also change the feel of the steering or the suspension. So in standard mode you can choose between soft and firm, but once you go to off-road, the steering feel will only remain firm, it cannot go to soft.
The all-wheel drive system is standard, which means the XC90 is ready to take on the uncertain challenges that might get thrown at it. However, to ensure maximum efficiency during regular drives, only the front wheels get all the power.
The Volvo cars are known for their safety. We know that. Structurally very strong cars, the build quality is very impressive, but having some more safety features always is something that helps. And here you get a good number of ADAS functions on the XC90, and that's good for a big car like this. So you have a lane keeping assist, Volvo Pilot Assist is there, which includes adaptive cruise control. You have rear cross traffic alert, you have blind spot detection as well. So all these features make the drive of this SUV much safer out on the roads.
Apart from a 360 view camera, there's also a blind spot detection system, an absolute must for Indian highways. Also helpful are hill start assist and hill descent control, while there are 7 airbags including a special knee airbag for the driver and the curtains that extend to the third row. The XC90 gets into a tough segment where it has to take on the likes of the BMW X5, Mercedes-Benz GLE and the recently launched Audi Q7. When compared to each of these cars, the SUV has its pros and cons, while the price is on the higher side, which is introductory too. But this is a car that is far away from gimmicks, is no nonsense and does its core job with absolute ease.
So that's the all-new Volvo XC90, a car that is more tech-friendly, more user-friendly, safer, as well as much more comfortable than before. I love the way it looks, and it guarantees the fact that your entire family can travel in it in all the rows with utmost comfort without getting tired for long hours. Yes, many of you would want a more responsive engine or a third row which is more spacious than what it is right now, but it is what it is. So that's the gist of what the Volvo XC90 is. Let us know in the comments below. What do you think of this brand new offering from Volvo in India? What would you have loved to see on the car which is not there right now? And what do you love which is present currently? Let us know in the comments below. We're waiting to know your feedback. Thank you so much for watching.